So we know it's possible that PlayStation could be working on a PS Vita 2, but with the recent release of Nintendo Switch, how can Sony have a leg up on the competition? Hey guys, it's Elijah from Rocket Sloth, and today we're going to be taking a look at the possible PS Vita 2 that we've seen patents and blueprints for, and we're going to talk about how it could possibly be better than Nintendo Switch, or at least what Sony has to do if they want to even stand a chance in the market against the Nintendo Switch. Let's get into it. So a few months ago, we actually saw that a patent was possibly in the works for some sort of handheld PlayStation device. It looks like what could possibly be a PS Vita 2, which is interesting because for the most part, the PS Vita and the PSP before that didn't do that well on sales. It never really got into the market that people had hoped it would. And the hardware on the PS Vita was pretty cool, and it looked great for 5 years ago, but it never moved the volume that they were hoping to. It didn't really stand a chance even against the 3DS when they were competing. So what can they do differently? I think honestly just Nintendo has a wider array of intellectual properties that just work really well on handheld consoles, and a lot of people are willing to buy those games. Where PlayStation, on the other hand, have more story-driven narratives, not necessarily games that are easily accessible to a more casual player. I think it's possible that they are going to possibly try to target this new console, whether it's called the PS Vita 2 or whatever they decide to call it, and target it to more of the hardcore gamers that already own a PS4. And I think they've been alluding to this for a long time. If Sony wants to compete with the Nintendo Switch in any way, they're going to have to make a console that is stronger than the Nintendo Switch. And believe it or not, Nintendo Switch for a portable console is pretty powerful. And if they want a chance to compete, they can't inflate the price much larger than Nintendo Switch, and they can't have lower quality graphics and stuff. What if Sony decides to try to make a controller and streaming device as opposed to a dedicated handheld console? They've already made public PlayStation Now that lets you play PS3 games and PS4 games on your PS4 or Windows device. And while it's a monthly service, what if they're trying to make a portable version of that? I don't feel like it would be too hard to be able to make a streaming type service. For instance, I'm able to play my Steam games using Steam's streaming service on my laptop that literally cannot play games at all. If they just make a powerful controller with a screen on it and uses dedicated servers that run the games similar to how PlayStation Play works, what if that's all we need to have a portable PlayStation that can play all the games? I think if Sony pivots just a little bit and decides not to necessarily compete directly with Nintendo Switch and try to scale games for handheld, but instead provide players with an accessory that lets them play their entire game library and more on the go by using a streaming service, I think people would really get behind that. And like I said, I've streamed games before. I streamed my Xbox One to my PC just because it's more convenient than having to replug in everything. I stream my computer games to my laptop, and it works really well. There's barely any latency, and I think a dedicated handheld could definitely handle that type of gameplay. But what do you think? Would you rather see a PS Vita 2 that is similar to the PS Vita that has its own games for it, or would you rather see a sort of PlayStation device that lets you stream your PlayStation games on the go? Let me know in the comment section down below. I read every single one of my comments. And while this video may be over, be sure to subscribe to Rocket Sloth for more gaming news, gaming discussion, and gaming top lists here at your new #1 source for all things gaming.